how did the concept of failure weigh into your consideration for pursuing entrepreneurship? Did it create, space for you to kind of hold back?
So I've talked about this thing called the idea high, and I don't really think about failure during that phase when I'm starting out a new business or an idea, because you're so excited about that idea and you think, oh my God, who wouldn't want my product? Who wouldn't want my service? I got to worry about having too much business. I actually, that was a concern. I was like, what if we grow too fast? And it's like, oh my God, Lauren, you don't even know. That is such a cute thought that you would have that problem. But I think a lot of people think that initially. Yeah. It's like, this idea is brilliant. This business is brilliant. People are going to be knocking down the door for this. And you don't even think that it's going to fail because it's too good to fail.
Right.
So failure in that sense never held me back from getting started. Now, when I was, going through the business and building and starting the execution side, it hurt me, my psyche mentally a lot more. It didn't deter me or stop me because I learned to adapt and learn from those mistakes and keep iterating and trying. I think failure is when you get to that point where there's nothing to iterate or new to try. If you've done everything you can and it's just not working, or if you're doing the same thing over and over and it's not working, if there's nothing new to try, it's kind of over. And that's where, failure kind of stops you at that point.
Yeah, that's a great point about the reiteration. And, I think we're going to talk about pivoting later, but figuring out all your options, exercising them, and then seeing if this is the end of the road, so to speak. I'm a little different. I have allowed fear of failure to stop me on multiple occasions, and it's through various stages. So I think I have great ideas, and then I think about the execution or raising capital or whatever the case may be, and I'm paralyzed with fear. Oh my God, I can't do this. Which is crazy because usually I love a challenge. I'm very competitive. I love to prove people wrong. But there was a significant amount of time, unfortunately, where I was paralyzed by fear and wanted to play it safe. And so it's weird. If I look back, over the last 5-6 years or so, it's almost like I was going to bed every night, hoping somehow my idea or business would just magically take off. And I wouldn't have to do a lot of grunt work, right? Just the idea itself is going to explode and I'm going to have people pouring in, and it's not like that, right? It's a lot of I'm inspired and then I have to get to work. And then I think for me personally, I was really afraid of putting in all of this time, effort, and energy for it to be a dud.
Oh, totally.
And I didn't want to risk that, and so for years, I played it safe and very miserable and unhappy. And now it's I've shifted my mindset about failure, right? It's about what if I look up and I'm 50, 60 years old and I have not pursued my, what I'm passionate about or some of these ideas, or at least taking control over my life in the way that entrepreneurship allows you to do. And I realized that is more scary than failing at trying to do something for myself. So that has changed for me, which I'm grateful for.
I think that's a really interesting point too, because I think a lot of people, we all know and are kind of vaguely aware of that future regret that we're worried about, but it's still not always enough to scare us into taking action and trying, because that paralyzing fear that you feel, I think a lot of people feel that. And even the fear of future regret is not enough, because otherwise everyone would be, seizing the day. And there is something that kind of holds us back